Rando.
Look around you. A program that takes each shift like it's their last. A program that's dedicated, determined, and always plays with heart. For us, hockey isn't just a game, but a statement.
Yeah, we talked about their playmakers, and now let's sort of talk about your guys' playmakers. Knapp, Spolik, Rudman, you can add Nathan Austin in there, but yeah, Grant Bader. Everyone in this team is very talented. Purdue has talent as well, but let's sort of talk about the reverse side of this. Defensively, Purdue is a team that has only given up an average of 23 shots a game through the first 6 games. They got dudes like Torrin Frank and Zane Burnside who are basically shutdown makers. They shut down all teams' playmakers, and that's what they're going to look to do and sort of talk to us. How do you guys sort of establish your guys' offensive attack early on?
Well, the good news is we're 3.5, close to 4 lines deep, all of them with speed and skill. And the mantra of us is you can shut one line down, but you can't shut them all down. And it just means that if they shut our number 1 line down, then they got to pay dues with our number 2. And number 3 follows, and number 4 follows that. So it's really team centered and foundation here.
The first thing I want to sort of talk about before we get to that Missouri State series is the rankings, right? The third set of the ACHA D3 rankings just came out the Friday before you guys actually took the ice against Missouri State, checking in now at number 8 in the top 10 for the first time this series. So you guys this season have gone from 25 to 13 to 8. That's pretty good, I have to admit. So before I give you the question here, this is what Coach Bob Bucher had to say when I asked him this question during Coach's Corner.
This message from the wins with Missouri State is huge. Unfortunately for us, we're not going to play any of those 1 through 5, 6 guys this year. So making it further up that ladder is going to be difficult. But I think being in the 8 hole is a true definition and identification of where we are.
All right, that's what Coach Bob Booker had to say about you guys in that 8th spot and how sort of it's going to be a little difficult to climb that ladder, as we know, like Grand Valley State's there, Hope College, Michigan, Florida Gulf Coast. What is your reaction exactly to what Booker had to say?
You know, I think he's really spot on. Like, from where we started at to where we are now, I think it really shows just the grit and how much this team wants to win.
So going to this series this weekend against UNO, right? You talked about playing down to Purdue. Obviously, you want to prevent that again against UNO. So let's take a look at the first time you guys played against them, against UNO. You guys swept them the first time you ever played them. That happened to be the Mavericks' very first games ever in their program history, D3 specifically speaking here. So taking a look at this, they're probably going to be a little hungry here coming to Washington Park Ice Arena in trying to get a couple of wins here. So in order to do that, you guys are probably going to have to establish some tempo to say, this is our house, you ain't getting 2 wins here. So how do you guys set the tempo?
We just got to come out flying, use our speed to our advantage. I know that we were hungry against Arkansas because we knew that if we sweep them, it's a huge win, and it's something we were gunning for day one. I know we will play them again later in the season at Arkansas.
Kevin Gregory, the coach from Maryville, was interviewed this week by our own Luca Vitale. Had some very interesting tidbits to mention. Luke, you want to tell us more about that?
Yeah, and Kevin Gregory's actually, like last week, we talked about Cody Blevins and the Missouri State head coach, and I was coaching at his alma mater. Well, Kevin Gregory's no different coaching at his alma mater. He actually spent a season playing for the Maryville Saints, the very first season that Maryville had their very first D2 team. So found that very interesting. But before he transferred to Maryville, he went to Midland University in Nebraska, and his head coach was actually diagnosed with cancer, and he had chemo treatments, and at times he just didn't feel great, and he couldn't coach, unfortunately. But Kevin Gregory got the opportunity to actually coach some games there as the assistant captain there, and he just fell in love with that experience and always just loved hockey. He just loved it so much, and he felt he had the instincts, and he just cherished his time so much at Midland University in Nebraska, and he sort of wanted to continue that journey of coaching. And then sure enough, John Hogan, who is actually the director of hockey operations at Maryville, actually reached out to Kevin Gregory and says, would you like to coach here at Maryville? And sure enough, they got into touch, and sure enough, there's Kevin Gregory at the bench right there for Maryville. Mizzou continues to prove why they belong at number 8 in the rankings. They have dominated this game from start to finish. Yesterday, we saw that Missouri State was actually the better team in spite of Mizzou winning that game. But tonight, Mizzou is not only winning this game, but they have been the better team. Missouri State has been taking a lot of penalties they should not really be taking. I mean, head coach Cody Blevins was ejected, as we saw in that second period, but we saw that Mizzou is able to capitalize on the man advantage, something they have continued to do game after game. Charlie Walker, the Hattie, he has been fantastic this game for the Tigers. In this game, they just continue to show why they belong at number 8.